Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2013 Mazda CX-5, we're going to be showing you how to install the EcoHitch Trailer Hitch receiver. But before we do that, why don't we check it out and make sure that this is right for you. When it comes to the CX-5, these are pretty popular SUVs and people use them to do a lot of different things. And so having a trailer hitch back here is really going to open up your opportunities to use a lot of different type of accessories. One thing I do like about this hitch is the appearance of it. It's going to be completely hidden for the most part. Really, you're just going to be able to see the receiver tube opening and our safety chain openings there. But honestly, compared to the other hitches available, they're all going to look really similar, kind of sit in the same spot and not be entirely visible. Really, the difference with this one is the safety chain openings are a little different design. And the finish of it is kind of a hammer tone powder coat finish. So as far as the appearance goes, compared to the other hitches, it's really just going to be more or less your personal preference. But with that said, this is going to have that 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening. Really common size, a lot of different accessories will work with it. At the end, we are going to have a reinforced collar for a little bit of extra support. And the hitch is going to use that standard 5/8 pin and clip. Keep in mind though, it doesn't come included with one. If you need one, not a huge deal. You can grab it here at eTrailer. And the plate style openings should provide us with enough space to use just about any size hook that we might have. As far as the hitch's weight capacities go, it's going to have a 600-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating. And that's going to be the amount of weight that is pushing down on the hitch. So that's a pretty high number actually, and you should be able to use just about any size bike rack or cargo carrier that you'd want to, for example. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, that's going to be 4,000 pounds, and that's going to be the amount of weight that is pulling on the hitch. So that is the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. Do always like to suggest, though, never a bad idea just to grab your Mazda's owner's manual. That way you can make sure your CX-5 can pull that much weight safely. With that in mind, if you do plan on doing some towing, pulling a trailer around, you're going to want the lights to work. That way people around you know what's going on and you'll be safe and legal. And to accomplish that, you can grab some trailer wiring. Let's just go ahead, grab a couple of measurements. That way we can figure out which accessories will work best. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be about 12.5 inches. So if you're going to pull a trailer, chances are pretty good you need to get a ball mount that has a rise in the shank. If you go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of a rear bumper, that's going to be right at about 3.5 inches. And you can use that measurement to figure out exactly if any of those folding type accessories can be stored in that upright position without hitting the back of your Mazda. So at the end of the day, pretty nice hitch. It's also made from recycled materials, so you can never really go wrong there. And it'll get the job done, let you go out and enjoy yourself. Now, as far as the installation goes, really not too bad. It is kind of a tight fit, but I'll show you a couple things that I did along the way to make it a little bit easier. And just about anyone should be able to do it. It's not super complicated or anything like that. But speaking of installation, why don't we go ahead, pull into the garage, and do it together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here underneath the back of our Mazda. And along this edge here on our bumper, we're going to have a couple of fasteners that we need to remove. So we're going to have 2 of them like this. These are just push pins. You can take a trim tool or even a flathead screwdriver, kind of pry underneath the fastener and pull it out. Same deal for this one here. At this point, we need to support our exhaust, and that's because we are going to lower it down. And by doing this, we can kind of control how fast and how far we let it come down. So I'm just going to take a strap and run it from side to side here. I do want to mention, if you don't have a strap laying around the house and you want to grab some, you can get them here at eTrailer. But with that said, on each side of our muffler, we're going to have 2 rubber isolator hangers. And you can lubricate them with some soapy water, some type of penetrating oil. And what you're going to do is take a pry bar or even a big screwdriver and work one end of that hanger off, like so. Same deal with this one here. And I already did the other side of our muffler. It's literally set up the exact same way. And I want to mention from this point on, anything we do to this side of the vehicle, we're going to do to the other side because everything will be the same. But we'll get that pried off of there. Then we're able to loosen up the strap and give us some extra room to work. Now if we look on the side of our frame rail here, we're going to have some stickers covering up our attachment points. So there will be 2 attachment points. One of the stickers is going to be right here, and you're just going to take a scraper or, you know, flathead screwdriver or whatever you got and get this removed. Like so. And then the other one is going to be up here towards the very back of our vehicle. So we'll do the same deal with this one. And then what we're going to do, since our hitch, the side plates are going to sit against the side of our frame, if you have any sealer or caulk that will interfere, we're going to remove that. So like this piece here, we're going to get that out of the way and just kind of clear everything up. That way the hitch will go up easily. So once you're all done scraping, this is what the side of your frame should look like. So now we can get our hardware in place. This opening here towards the very back of our vehicle, you're going to take a fish wire, take the coiled end of it, feed it through that opening and right down through this larger one. Then you're going to take a carriage bolt and one of these spacer blocks and thread that onto the pull wire. And then we can feed that hardware up into the frame. Get it to pull all the way out like this. And then once we're at this point, you're just simply going to kind of push that right back in just a little bit. That way when we go to put our hitch up, it don't interfere with it. For this attachment point up here, this is actually a threaded weld nut. And what you want to do is make sure the threads are clean. I'm just going to use a tube brush to clean that out. And then the hardware combo that we're going to use for this one, you're just going to take a bolt, a split lock washer, and a flat washer. And then once the hitch is up there, this is going to thread into that weld nut. Now there's a few different combinations here, and regardless which one you have, you're going to have all the hardware necessary. Some of these Mazdas will have, a weld nut here and up here. Others will have just 2 openings, so you'd use a fish wire type hardware for them. And then in our case, we have one of each, a weld nut and an opening. So just depending on your particular model or setup, you're gonna take the hardware combination that's appropriate and use that. Now with an extra set of hands, we can take our hitch and you're gonna go over the exhaust. With these wires, you wanna take them, put them through the corresponding holes in the hitch. Try to get it behind our bumper here. Everything's a really tight fit, so I expect to have to kind of work at it a little bit. Once we get it close, we should be able to get everything lined up. So once you get the hitch up and lined up, you can pull this bolt out through the hitch, and that should be enough to kind of hold it in place. You can then remove the fish wire. You're then going to put on a flat washer, a split lock washer, and a hex nut. So that last back bolt, I was kind of struggling to get it lined up. And so what I did to fix that problem is just took a jack and just put a little bit of pressure up on the hitch, and that kind of held it up where it needed to go and made it a lot easier to actually get our bolt threaded in. So once you have all the hardware in place and in tight, come back with a 19mm socket and snug it all down. Now we can come back with a torque wrench and tighten down all the hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can grab one here at eTrailer, or a lot of times you go to your local auto parts store, they'll have one there available to rent. So what I'm going to do, just kind of looking at this, I happen to pry the top of our exhaust hanger off, and I'm looking up there, it's kind of tight to try to hold our exhaust up and get it back on. So I'm just going to switch it. And I feel like that'll be a little bit easier as opposed to trying to do it the other way, but once we have that in place, we can go ahead and get our exhaust rehung. So now that the exhaust is supporting itself once again, we can go ahead and remove our strip. And last but not least, don't forget to reinstall your push pin fasteners. But with this done, that will finish up our look at and our installation of the EcoHitch Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2013 Mazda CX-5.